Hey, are you a grower or a shower? Don't know what that means? Then you came to the right video. If you do know what that means, well, you still came to the right video. Let's not waste any time. We all know why we're here. Simply put, a grower is someone whose penis extends in length by a notable amount when it goes from flaccid to erect. Meanwhile, a shower has one that remains essentially the same length when it goes from flaccid to erect. What you see is what you get. Debates have raged about which is better since the first caveman tried to hit on the first cavewoman in a cave nightclub. But we didn't get any true masters of the Johnson weighing in until sex researchers Masters and Johnson got on the case. In 1966, they addressed the phallic fallacy, or the idea that a larger flaccid penis will grow more than smaller flaccid penises when they become erect. Their research indicated that the amount a penis grows from its flaccid to erect state has very little to do with the starting size. This research by Masters and Johnson is some of the first recorded scientific evidence of growers and showers being, well, a thing at all. Of course, there has been a lot of anecdotal evidence over the years. Half of the population has a penis, and at least half of that half wants theirs to have a great PR campaign. But two of Masters and Johnson's findings backed this notion up with hard evidence, pun intended. The first finding was that, on average, the difference in size between large and small penis groups decreased when their penises went from flaccid to erect. So when all of the penises were erect, they were all closer in length, meaning that the smaller penises tended to grow more when hardening, while the larger penises increased less dramatically, allowing the smaller penises to catch up. Pretty inspirational stuff, right, fellas? The second finding was that, similarly, the group of penises with a shorter flaccid length experienced a relatively greater increase in length and circumference when becoming erect. That's great news for all of our short kings out there. Masters and Johnson weren't the only researchers to confirm that growers and showers both exist. Wessels et al. Reported that men with penises that were short, aka a flaccid length of less than or equal to 9.5 centimeters, and long, those with a flaccid length greater than or equal to 10 centimeters, experienced equivalent overall penile length increase, which implied a greater relative increase for the shorter penises. We bet you didn't expect to see boners and math collide when you got up this morning, huh? Now that we've established that the grower versus shower dynamic is a thing at all, what influences the category that someone might fall into? How can you predict, medically speaking, whether someone will rise to the occasion or whether they already wear their penis length on their proverbial sleeve? In 2018, Faisal A. Yafi, Laith Al-Zwari, Ian R. McCaslin, Russell P. Libby, Premsant Sankum, Suresh C. Sika, and Wayne J.G. Hellstrom, yeah, it was pretty crowded in Penis HQ that day, published the story Grower or Shower? Predictions of Change in Penile Length from the Flaccid to Erect State. This study attempted to understand, in concrete terms, the nature of both growers and showers, and then identify what variables might be predictors for which category a person will fall into. First, the data were collected from erectile dysfunction patients who underwent a penile duplex Doppler ultrasound, or PDDU, between the years of 2011 and 2013. Next, any patients in this category with Peyronie's disease were disqualified from the study due to the length between that condition and penile shortening. Penile length measurements were taken in the flaccid, stretched, and erect states, and vascular measurements were performed as well. Patients in the study were given an injection of prostaglandin E1, which is commonly used to treat impotence, into the erectile tissue of the penis. This was combined with audiovisual sexual stimulation, or the use of pornographic material, to induce a sexual response. Then the ultrasound was conducted and measurements of the erect penises were taken. Quickly, let's address a question most people with penises have asked at some point. When measuring a penis length, where should you technically start? The balls? The butt? Or if you really need to fudge the numbers, the back of your heels? In this study, the measurement covered the areas from the base of the penis at the junction between it and the pubic bone and ended at the edge of the tip. These measurements were conducted using a malleable ruler, an essential piece of equipment for any penis measurer, which was able to follow the natural curve of the penis for an accurate measurement. But enough about the methodology. What did the study find? First, its penile analysis defined a grower as someone whose penis expands 4 centimeters or more upon reaching a maximal erection. So what was the difference between the two groups? First, let's talk about what they had in common. All of the test subjects had been diagnosed with erectile dysfunction, some with vascular causes, some without. Regardless of the cause, there was no notable difference in penis size or enlargement based on vascular or non-vascular ED. Previous research has shown that regular smokers, those with diabetes, and those who have had radical prostatectomies have shorter penises regardless of how erect they are. An important reminder that there are more reasons than just your lungs, teeth, and skin to start kicking the smokes today, folks. However, in this study, there was no difference in the rates of those who smoked, had diabetes, or had undergone prostatectomies between the showers and the growers. Nor were these factors effective predictors of someone being one or the other. So what was different? Growers were found to be significantly younger than showers, and being younger was a significant predictor of someone being a grower. The authors of the study saw one potential explanation as this: as men get older and their bodies change, they experience increased inflammation, decreased tissue elasticity, and possibly reduced or more difficult blood flow to the penis. All of these factors may contribute to someone having more difficulty growing as much during an erection. But age was not the only consistent predictor of someone falling into one group or the other. Growers were more likely to be single, while showers were not. However, it should be noted that this factor may just be an extension of age, as younger people are less likely to be in committed relationships than older people. Oh, by the way, grower and shower are the two categories being researched in that particular study. But according to a different study from 2023, most men don't qualify as either one. What a shocking plot twist! Once you picked your jaw up off the floor, we'll continue. In 2023, several Madrid urologists, led by Dr. Manuel Alonso Isa, studied 225 men, conducting ultrasounds on them in flaccid and erect states. The study was intended to find predictors of whether someone will experience significant penile growth when erect, as it could signal a need for a different surgical approach during certain procedures. The study defined a grower as someone whose penis increased in size by more than 56% when erect, and a shower as someone whose penis increased by less than 31%. But of the men studied, only 24% qualified as growers and 25% as showers. The rest, the majority, fell somewhere in the gray area of the middle. This study found no correlation between penis growth and age, weight, or smoking status. They did, however, find that men who were showers had longer flaccid penises on average than growers. But wait a minute. Everyone talks about the dichotomy of grower versus shower as if those are the only options. Now we're saying there's a third option, a third thing someone can be? Well, as it turns out, like many things in nature, penises do not work on a binary. The human body is a lot more complicated than that. When it comes to penises, there is no one way, or two ways, or even three ways to be. According to Women's Health magazine and urologist Dr. Joshua Gonzalez, there are at least 20 different types of penises that vary based on shape and size. These include bigger base with a narrow head, a narrow base with a bigger head, thick girth, thin girth, circumcised, uncircumcised, the famous growers and showers, curved upward, curved downward, curved to the right, curved to the left, smaller length and girth, larger length and girth, smooth, veiny, pigmented, freckles, hairy, and shaved. Obviously, some of the penises belong to more than one of those categories, but all are healthy, natural, and beautiful. Well, beauty's in the eye of the beholder, or the penis holder, but you get the idea. We all agree it's important to love your body as it is, but what about when it changes? What can cause penis size to change over time? Whether you're a grower or a shower, a penis can shrink permanently. And do those email forwards promising incredible penis growth via a miracle supplement, if you just send over your social security number, have any truth to them? The length of the penis can decrease due to a variety of not-so-fun factors, including aging, prostate surgery, or Peyronie's disease. As you get older and blood flow to the penis decreases, the muscle cells in the erectile tissue may start to wither, becoming less engorged during erection. Just like most of the body, the penis becomes less elastic with age, resulting in the potential for decreased size and smaller erections. After having a cancerous prostate gland removed, up to 70% of men experience mild to moderate shortening of the penis. The cause of this is still somewhat uncertain, but one potential cause is muscle contractions in the groin, pulling the penis up into the body. Peyronie's disease can cause extreme curvature of the penis, making it painful or even impossible to have sex or use the penis normally. This disease can reduce the length and girth of the penis, and surgery to remove the scar tissue causing the disease can also result in a permanent reduction in size. penis size can also decrease temporarily due to fluctuations in temperature. The long and short of it, again, pun very much intended, is that cold temperatures can cause the penis to decrease in length by up to 50%. It can decrease in girth anywhere from 20 to 30%. All it takes is a temperature of less than 60 degrees Fahrenheit. So, keep your trouser snake away from the ice if you want to keep it strong, healthy, and girthy. Yeah, we can't believe we're saying that either. Leave a comment about it. Shrinking is not just nature trying to ruin your life and reputation, but rather a natural result of the body's instinct to conserve heat and energy. When you're in cold weather or immersed in cold water, your body will reduce blood flow to your appendages such as your fingers and your toes and, yes, your penis, to prioritize your vital organs. Meanwhile, your testicles will retract closer to your body. During this period, you are neither a grower nor a shower, you're just cold. And this effect is not permanent. And as soon as you're back in warmer waters or nestled by the roaring fire, your penis and testicles should return to their normal state. No need to panic. So, all you showers out there, let's change gears from shrinkage and talk about growth. Just click here to add inches, enter your credit card information, and in 3 easy payments of $29.99. Just kidding. Of course, when there's a shortage in the market, pun intended, people will rush to fill it. So there are hundreds of products out there promising to increase penis size with minimal effort. But it's not that simple. Some of these methods used to extend the length of the penis include pills and lotions, vacuum pumps, exercises, stretching, even surgery. That last one no longer qualifies as minimal effort, and it can be quite dangerous. But we'll get there. Just make sure you're paying attention, because if this goes wrong, you'll have an extremely unhappy dong. Let's get the pills and lotions out of the way first. None of these have been proven to work, no matter what magical herbs, vitamins, minerals, or hormones they supposedly contain. Depending on the ingredients, they may even be harmful. Next, we'll get into vacuum pumps. Well, not into them per se, we'll explain them. They pump air and they create a vacuum in a tube containing the penis, pulling more blood into it and making it swell. These may be used to treat erectile dysfunction, and they can make the penis look longer temporarily, but the effect doesn't last. There's a similar method to the vacuum pump that is a bit more hands-on. Literally, it involves exercises that move the hands over the penis, pushing blood from the base to the head. However, though this seems safer than the vacuum pump method, this can cause scar formation, pain, and long-term damage. Yikes! Then there is penis stretching, which might sound like a medieval torture technique, but it actually involves the use of a stretching device to increase penis length and girth. One popular method is the use of a penile traction device, which pulls on the penis to straighten it out and potentially address the severe curvature of Peyronie's disease. But does it actually do anything? Or are you just putting your penis through the ringer for no reason? The research on penis stretching is somewhat sparse, but there have been a few studies on the subject. A 2010 study of the andropenis stretching device found it produced some increase in length when used daily for 6 to 9 hours at a time. Participants in the study experienced an average length increase of about 2/3 of an inch. Not sure if it's worth it, even if it does work. Guess that's up to you. A 2013 study found that traction devices can effectively treat extreme curvature of the penis, but it found no changes in length. Another study in 2016 found the same thing, no significant changes in length as a result of using these devices. What about surgery? We mentioned there was a get a longer penis surgery, and there is. 2 urological researchers, Marco Ordera and Paolo Gontero of the University of Turin in Italy, studied outcomes from surgical and non-surgical procedures for male enhancement. What was the verdict on surgery? Well, in their words, the surgeries were dangerous and came with an unacceptably high rate of complications. Because we care about our viewers and subscribers, we will spare you the details of those complications. Seriously, they are beyond gnarly. But if you can't be swayed and are still interested in learning more about those surgeries, we won't refuse you. Most of these surgeries are done to correct a medical problem, rather than addressing an issue of vanity or cosmetic preference. Some of the surgical methods used to lengthen the penis include cutting the suspensory ligament, which causes the penis to appear longer but it doesn't actually add length. This procedure can increase the risk of injury when erect. And if the ligament grows back together, it can ironically result in a shorter penis than before the surgery. Another method is fat injection, and that's pretty much what it sounds like, injecting fat taken from elsewhere in your body into the shaft of the penis. This one yields mixed results, as the fat can settle or migrate elsewhere, or can cause scarring or an irregular penis. A similar technique is tissue grafting, which can also cause similar issues, including damaging the ability to get an erection. And what good is it to get the penis of your dreams if you can't even take it out for a spin? And of course, there is the possibility of penis implants. In this method, materials are placed under the skin of the penis to give it a thicker appearance. However, like the rest of them, this method can cause scarring, trouble with erections, and yes, it can make the penis shorter than it was before. With any of these techniques that promise miracle changes, it's best to keep in mind that if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Now check out how an erection works, or watch this instead.